Over the last couple days, a significant amount of large Valorant content creators have announced they're quitting the scene pretty much entirely, or if not entirely, they're pivoting their content to go in a different direction. And so today I kind of want to just talk about, first off, who these creators are and why they're leaving the scene, and give my perspective as someone who's been a Valorant content creator since the game came out and been doing content creation for the last 6.5 years, and give a little fresh perspective on what I see and how I understand what they're going through, but also just kind of different. So let's go ahead and just start diving into it. So first off, the people that I'm talking about are mainly Eggwick, Judgment, and WestJet. All three of these people have kind of announced recently that they're either quitting the scene entirely or pivoting their content in a different direction. And honestly, really happy for these people, because I think that if you're ever burnt out in a game, it's really important to pursue something you really enjoy. And I hope all these people find where that content is for them and where they find a passion for whatever they're creating. And it's honestly not their fault for anything that's like, being kind of sick of Valorant. So before we show some of the videos, I'll leave a link to all the videos that I show here in the description below. But I kind of want to just go over something because they're going to talk about it in some of these clips. But first off, I just want to give my opinion on smurfing content, because that is something I kind of like teeter the line in. Basically, I think if you are playing on an alt account or something, it's pretty much okay as long as you're not intentionally staying in a lower rank to just dunk on players worse than you. I think that's kind of where I draw the line. Because if I, for example, was a CSGO pro and have never touched Valorant before, and I hop on for the first time, I'm going to be absolutely frying people. And the game's probably going to place me in like plat to diamond if I'm really good. And then I can just grind out, to get to Ascendant, Mortal, Radiant, wherever it is. But you get pretty much placed in the level of your skill level, or your MMR gets adjusted, because for the last like 3 or 4 speedruns I've done, I have placed in like gold to plat, but the people I'm playing against are already like Ascendant to Immortal within 5 to 10 games. So I think Riot's actually done a really good job in terms of counteracting, like at least the people that do content that like me with speedruns, where I create a new account and go as fast as I can to get to Immortal. So I think that type of content I kind of justify, because I'm not trying to just like absolutely dunk on new players. Again, like the example I just gave. Anyway, so that's my opinion on smurfing content. But with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at first up Eggwick's video and with what he announced. Just a small little snippet here.
But honestly, and this is just my own opinion, I don't know what else to do in this space anymore. I don't know what content to make anymore. I know I made a video about this on my second channel a while back, but I guess it's finally time to experiment and broaden the scope of this channel.
So Eggwick's just pretty much, out of ideas, which is really fair, because honestly, Valorant content is stale. Like in a ranked system, like the focus of Riot Games is very much towards ranked. There's a couple like cool game modes, like TDM is awesome, and Eggwick and all these other people talked about a lot of these other modes that are kind of fun, but don't really have any longevity in the content in them. So there is a lot of focus in ranked, and that's personally why I make all of my series about ranked, even if I'm not necessarily on like my main account or top, 100 Radiant or whatever. So there's a really interesting perspective that I want to bring to the table, but just in a second. We're going to watch, next up, we're going to go over Judgment's video, just again, another little small snippet here.
Talking about Smurf content, I feel like Smurf content is such a prevalent thing, and a lot of people hate it, but I think the reason there's so much Smurf content is because of the lack of creative freedom in the game. Yeah. You give, like, even I've done it, like, I made a Smurf content video where I was going to do a Keeoh to Radiant, whatever. And a lot of people were like, don't do that because of, it's very bad for the community. You become part of a problem. And I'm like, yeah, I can get that. But the only reason I had done it in the first place was because there is nothing else to do freedom, like creative freedom wise. Like I can make a skin video, like there's nothing I can do, there's nothing, and not just me, there's nothing a lot of content creators can do. Like go look at any content creator's YouTube channel. It's the same thing spit out over and over.
That's a good point to stop. But yeah, with that, just exactly what he said. If you are kind of unwilling to really push the boundaries and think outside of the box. And again, this isn't like shade on anyone that's leaving the scene or anything. I think all of their content is great, and I think they're going to find something that is awesome. But I think Valorant in general, or a game like a tactical FPS game, is inherently going to lock you in a box. You have to play some way. You have to either, do a ranked speedrun or Because this happened in Overwatch. People did unranked to Grandmaster, and people do it in CSGO. People do it in Fortnite right now. That's a big trend. A lot of people are doing this across every single game, and it's because it's good content. Like, to see, people want to see how to get better. People want to see, good plays and whatever across the board. So it's not necessarily that it's like bad. Obviously, like, there is to a degree, smurfing content is absolutely bad and like unhealthy for the game, but that doesn't change the fact that it's going to happen across the board, and people are going to be doing way worse, like smurf content where they're just like, I'm going to buy an account in iron, get up to silver, and then I'm going to buy another account in iron and just like keep dunking on people over and over again. There are a lot of people that do that, and they're not even content creators. They just want to feel better about themselves because they're not good at the game and refuse to get better. So they just want to keep beating people that are worse than them. That's horrible. Anyway, back to the content creation aspect of it. We've been playing the same game with, new agent releases, new map releases, but the same game for the last 3 years straight. No wonder it's getting stale. So if you can't, sorry, let me backtrack just a touch. I'm not personally burnt out myself, but I totally understand the perspective that these guys are coming from. The game is stale, and you need to constantly be coming up and innovating a new idea and something new to do in the game. Otherwise, you're going to get burnt out. And so I've come into this like whole Valorant content creation thing with the mindset that I need to be thinking so far out of the box to actually not get burnt out myself. Because if I just keep doing the same thing, I'm going to get bored and I'm going to get burnt out. And, well, actually, this is a good time to jump into WestJet's video real quick.
You're not gonna lie. Look at bro's eyes. He does not want to be here. His bus is here. He wants to go. He has to. And because I'm Omega ADHD.
He says basically the same thing across the board, though, and agrees with both Eggwick and Judgment. So, kind of, the question is, like, why? Why are all these people getting burnt out? And obviously, it's because the game is stale, and we're not able to branch out. We're put in so many constraints that we have to draw within this box to actually make content. And I'm trying my best to push that to the absolute maximum, as you guys are probably seeing now with the, I turned Valorant into an RPG. But that is like almost the maximum you could potentially push a game like this in terms of creativity without the assistance of Riot Games, like of the people creating Valorant. So, again, I'm not personally burnt out because I'm pushing that boundary really hard. And again, people might be upset with me. They think I'm really partaking in Smurf content and promoting that, and that's horrible. Absolutely. People are going to have that opinion, and I understand that for sure. But I think there's a bigger problem at hand is because, one, there's no incentive to grind ranked. And all these people said this is just after you hit a certain rank goal, unless you're someone like me that's going to create an entirely new game or new series or new idea constantly, you're going to get bored and you're going to get so over it. And I've had this happen with many, many games before. The reason I think I have this mindset coming into Valorant is because I played Fortnite when it got stale. I went through this exactly, and I wasn't able to innovate, and I ended up quitting the game and moving to Valorant. So, and the same thing happened with Overwatch. Overwatch got stale, and I quit the game and moved to Fortnite. So, I'm not saying I'm going to die hard, only do Valorant content forever. I'll probably end up quitting Valorant at some point and pursuing the exact same thing these guys are doing and switching over to doing a lot more variety content, as you're probably also seeing that on Keeoh Plus as well. But I think, to summarize the video, I think there's a big thing that we can take away from what needs to happen moving forward in order to prevent this from happening to too many more people, if that makes sense. Especially really big content creators that have put their entire last 3.5 years into this game. So I think Riot really needs to expand on the custom games that are available to everyone. And I don't just mean like, hey, let's be able to manipulate the economy more or give certain people more buffs. I mean, we should have access to every little like nook and cranny that is in the game. So we could be like, all right, let's give everyone Neon Dash and everyone can sprint across the map. And then we as content creators can kind of do almost like what Fortnite is doing, where they have opened up this entire new world in their creative maps to where people can literally make whatever they want. And I'm not saying we need to go that far with Valorant, but I think there's a lot more we can do. I mean, if we take the example of like CSGO, they have tons of different communities across the board, whether that's like skins that are, you know, way more rare in a completely different system. We don't need to go into that, but also like surfing maps and a ton of different like parkour maps, all that type of stuff. If we were able to build our own maps, have like a, you know, a Valorant creative and be able to completely manipulate everything, I think there's no limit to what we could do as content creators with this game and be able to push the boundaries even farther than we can think right now. And that would explode the little box I'm talking about to just something that's so infinite that we're not going to run out of content for years on end, which is, I think, something that they should really consider doing. I don't know if that's something that's going to ever happen because I think right now they're so focused on VCT and ranked, which isn't a bad thing. VCT is awesome. That is always going to be so good and is competing with CSGO, and the game is only 3 years old. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of my takeaway from everything. You know, I'm happy for all three of these creators, and I think they're going to do awesome things in whatever games that they choose to pursue content on. But for the most part, yeah, I think it's really up to the creator themselves if they want to push the boundaries of a game to another level. And, you know, hey, I'm trying my best to do that, but it is difficult and demanding and really hard to like continuously do that and not just be like, this is stale. I want to do something else. Like, I've thought that so many times. So, yeah, in short, I think we should have more custom games, and good luck to all these creators that are heading out or potentially just starting to do more variety. And if they ever want to do variety with me, hit me up because variety is fun. Let's play Minecraft. Cool. Okay, thank you for watching. Subscribe to this channel, and let me know if you like videos like this where I cover Valorant stuff in the comments below. And yeah, also Finn's been here like the whole time. So, okay, goodbye, guys. Goodbye. Have a good one. All right, peace.